Today we're going to take some of this weirdly liquid, weirdly solid silly putty and see if we can use it as a mold for casting metal. YouTube user Kermit on Weeds says, now cast into silly putty. This comment has more thumbs up than I think I've ever seen on one of our videos at almost 2,000, probably is at 2,000 by now. So we're gonna do that. We've got a bunch of silly putty and we are going to try casting molten metal in silly putty. The premise is simple. We're going to empty out all of these eggs, smush all of the silly putty together into a big blob, press something into it to turn the silly putty into a mold, and then try to fill that cavity with 2 different types of molten metal. Let's start opening these eggs. I remember when I was an egg. That's a lot of eggs. It's gonna be a lot of silly putty. Well, this is the most silly putty that I have ever had at once. I'm gonna try and squish this all into a ball. I don't want to mix it because I kind of like the separate colors, but I do need to combine it. It's all joined together pretty well. Now I want to try and roll it into a ball and see how well it bounces. That kind of worked. That made a ball. It bounces. Oh, it's popping apart. The seams are letting go. Probably just need to let it sit for like an hour to really bond everywhere, but I'm not gonna do that right now. So let's try turning this into a mold that we can cast molten metal in. The first time we did this, we used a 3D print of Grant's face. Well, today we have a 3D print of my face, and I think it's only fair that we try doing the same thing with this. I thought our silly putty did a really good job of taking our impression of mini me, but unfortunately silly putty is not quite solid. In fact, that's what's kind of cool about it, but in this case it meant that the gallium, which is quite heavy, was just pressing down on it as a liquid for a good amount of time. The gallium was really barely over its melting temperature, but it takes quite a while for it to fully solidify. And in the time lapse, you're able to see that it just sort of smooshed everything down and eventually pushed the silly putty and broke free and spilled onto our table. And so now what we have is this just blob that really doesn't resemble my face even a little bit. Let's peel this up and see what kind of shapes we've got. Okay, so we have the shape of crystallized gallium. It does form some cool geometric looking shapes, and that made a cool dent right into our silly putty. I don't see any remnant of my face in that. A nice smooth surface that once again bears zero resemblance to the sweatshirt that I had on here. As casting goes, I would say this is one of our worst failures ever. Zero resemblance, like just none whatsoever to what it was supposed to be. Part of the problem, of course, was that it took so long to solidify. And so I think we now need to do another test with a different metal. And for that, we're going to move on to aluminum. So let's fire up our furnace, melt some aluminum, press this little face down into the silly putty a second time, and then pour some 2000-degree molten metal down into it and see what happens to silly putty under those conditions. Guys, I gotta admit, I am not very hopeful that this is gonna turn out well in aluminum. Our aluminum is melted and ready, so we're now going to press the little plastic mini-me down into the silly putty, make a new mold, pull out our molten aluminum, pour it in and see how the silly putty fares against our very, very hot aluminum. All right, there's me, decent mold. Three, two, one. That immediately lit on fire. Back off a little bit in case it decides to start spurting aluminum. It's on fire, yo. Oh, the aluminum is still molten. Our silly putty is getting ruined. Ooh, we've got some good drippage going on. Silly putty is melting in some spots. Aluminum is still nice and molten as well, so while our putty is melting, it might break down the walls that are holding in the aluminum. We'll see. I don't know if the aluminum is quite liquid enough to run it. So this is kind of interesting. Our aluminum has now been recovered in almost all of it by the burning silly putty. There's one spot here still exposed, but there's actually sort of a bubble over it. Watch this. Can blow it out briefly and then the heat just brings it right back. Our aluminum has now cooled down. Well, I'm not going to say that's a good casting, but amazingly, it is a better casting than the gallium. Did a fantastic job of lighting our silly putty on fire and then just melting it. Really nice and liquid and full of burnt silly putty ash here. Just a nice little scoop of hot silly putty. I'm trying to see if the silly putty that got melted, so it was really runny, will sort of reconstitute as it cools down and return to normal silly putty. So far it seems like it is actually. It's still very warm, so it's a little softer than it was before, but it's acting pretty much how you would expect silly putty to act. So I would say it looks like you can melt and re-solidify silly putty as much as it ever gets solid, which is, of course, not much. Well, that didn't work, and it smells bad. Burning plasticky smell. So not all of this silly putty is ruined, but I don't think I can separate the unruined silly putty from the ruined silly putty. So for that reason, this might all just be gone. Casting metal into silly putty. Thank you for your suggestion, Kermit on Weed. As you can see, it did not work. We tried gallium, which is like the coolest casting we can do, and it still took so long to completely solidify that it just smushed all the silly putty out and ran, and I do think this is probably the worst casting we have ever got off of anything. No one would ever be able to look at that and guess that it was even supposed to be a cast of a small person, like a bust or anything like that. The aluminum, also bad, but I think many people would at least look at that and say like, oh, that kind of looks like a deformed outline of a human bust shape. Like you can see there's a head and the shoulders and a little bit of the chest. Whereas with the gallium, there's just 3 puddles and some geometric shapes that have formed in them. None of which look anything like little plastic me.
Thank you guys for sending in your questions. Now it's time to give you some answers. All right, we've got a question here from @SethBurrow, who is asking, does Nate have his own Twitter handle or does he use the King of Random Twitter handle? The real answer to this one, Seth, is that I don't have Twitter. I don't use Twitter. I don't tweet. I rarely read tweets, and it's something that I probably should get into, but I think I tried it once about 4 or 5 years ago, and I realized I did not have anything worth tweeting about. So I tweeted like once, and I was like, well, I don't know why I'm doing this. This is just like screaming off the edge of a cliff and no one's listening, and I didn't really see much point in continuing to tweet in that situation. Maybe now I'm in a position where more people would be interested in what I'm doing, what I'm saying, and especially if I were giving commentary on some of the videos or some of the projects or some of my ideas, or if I wanted to get more ideas. So I should probably jump back on Twitter, but at the moment I have no Twitter. Sorry.
Guys, thanks for watching, but that's not all. That box up at the top will take you directly to our last video. You should go check that one out. The other box will show you what YouTube thinks you should be watching next. And if you haven't subscribed yet, just hit this bomb to get in the club, and that way you'll never miss out on the fun. Don't forget to ring that bell, and we will see you in the next one. Talk to you then.